I told them all them little gangsters who you think helped mold them all. Now you want to run around talking about guns like I ain't got none. What you think, I sold them all because I stayed well off? Now all I get is hate mail all day saying Dre fell off. What, because I've been in the pad with a pen in the pad trying to get this damn label off? I ain't having that. This is the millennium of aftermath, and ain't gonna be nothing after that. So give me one more platinum plaque and fuck rap. You can have it back. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say. When nothing comes out, when they move the lips, just a bunch of gibberish. The motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kids TV and the house like kitchen sinks. Now, before I get into this afternoon's story, if you will, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better, meaning that anytime I drop you a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, as we so often don't. You're on your way home from work. You need to laugh, you need to cry, perhaps you need to lay down and take a nap. Or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening to or viewing this video. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary / life story / life experience. This is the channel for you. If you prefer your 8 to 12 to 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Kids TV, it's 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, with all that wrapped up into one big old nut, shell that is, pause, double pause, there is a message. You know, people often ask me, like, I get so many emails. They send them to me at Real Kids TV at Yahoo. And I get so many questions in my comments as well. And I try my best to really answer every question, but it's difficult at this point. One of the main questions that I get is Kens, now, you had to have been afraid in prison at some point. Give us a situation in which you were, like, genuinely afraid. My thing is this. I've told many, many stories to where I was nervous. I've never proclaimed to be just this, just a dude that was just in prison, just knocking dudes out and running things and calling shots. That's never been my, turn this car off, man. It's a little loud, if you will. That's never been my disposition. I've always just kept it 100% real, man. I told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the motherfucking truth. But I will give you all the people an example of a situation, not just one situation, but I'll give you an example of this particular situation, if you will, in which I was afraid. I was a little nervous. Before doing so, y'all jump in the comment section and let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me know your city and state, man. Come on, kids. You say this shit every single video. Get to the video, motherfucker. Simmer down, man. How can I be Mr. 30 Minutes or Better if I just jump right in and get directly to the story? And for you all that have something to say about, like, my seats, I don't know. You all, it's like a noise, and so when I move, or, you see what I'm saying? You're going to hear move. Oh, kids is on the video letting gas. Well, if I was. It's a natural thing that we all do, but that's just not the case. It's, you know what I mean? We rock the boat. Shout out to the truck drivers, man. Dropping them big loads, man. We're not even going to start with single pause. We're going to just go directly to double pause, triple pause, infinite pause. It's the security guards working them 12, 15-hour shifts, man. The electricians. Shout out to the electricians. The healthcare workers pulling them 12, 16, 18-hour shifts, 24-hour shifts, man. DoorDash, Uber, Instacart. Everybody that's out there working on them houses, man, my amigos, man, no disrespect whatsoever, my friend, me llamo Lorenzo. Working in this frigid weather, they don't give a fuck. They out there still building the house, still framing, still putting in the carpet, still, you know what I mean, laying the tile, doing whatever they got to do. It don't matter if it's 5 degrees outside. Shout out to the amigos. Shout out to everybody that's doing what they got to do to make it. You in them factories, you in them fast food restaurants. I don't care if you flipping burgers. I don't care if you on the frying machine, you cleaning the toilets, you on the register. Don't be stealing no money out of that register, though, man. They gonna get you. They gonna get you. Don't matter what you're doing, man. Just do what you got to do. Keep getting that bread. Keep getting that money. And keep getting it the right way. I done gave so many shout outs, I done damn near forgot the topic of the story. Respectfully. You know, I often talk about how dangerous prison truly is. Like, prison is not a playground. Understand that you have content creators that get on here, such as myself. We get on here and we tell our prison stories, and it's entertaining. It's entertaining to a lot of individuals because the majority of the population is not locked up, hasn't been locked up. It's a very, very small percentage. It's a minority of individuals that have felonies. It's a minority of individuals in comparison to everyone else in the population that have been to prison, that have, criminal records, that are on probation and parole. Hell, our president's a 34-time felon, man. Shout out. I can't do nothing but salute. I'm a felon. You know what I mean? It's just a difference because they're going to make it much easier for him opposed to I have the income. I got the income like a motherfucker. So if I want to go move into this, if I'm not ready to get a house, purchase a house at this point, if I want to move into these apartments, and let's just say they want in Kentucky $1,500 a month for an apartment is man, you're gonna move into a nice ass apartment. I'm just using that as an example because I understand that different states have different price breaks and different, costs of living or what have you. They're not gonna accept me because they're gonna say, oh man, well, this guy's been to prison 3-time loser, man. This guy's been to prison, man, and he can't live in our community. He's not, no, this guy's a bad guy. We can't have him over here. I ain't did nothing to no kids. I ain't did nothing to nobody. To be honest, I did something to people. I did something to banks. I did something to people that rob us every single day. You don't got time to go to your ATM machine, so you go to this one. They want to charge you $2.99 for ATM, withdrawal fee. That don't seem like a lot, but when you multiply that $2.99 times 300,000-400,000 people a day that's doing that, you do the math. So who's the real crooks? I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it all the way real. I'm not trying to justify any crimes, anything that I did. What I did. I did my time. I committed the crime, so I had to do the time. I think the time that they gave me was a little excessive, but nevertheless, I did the crime. So getting back to, the lecture at hand, I'm in the joint. One thing about penitentiary, man, you got some of the best, the greatest athletes that you'll ever see, man. You got dudes that's just doing the most on the basketball court, dunking between their legs, behind their backs or whatever. Like, you will just really, really see some true talent. And it's not just athletes. You see people that can cook. I learned how to cook in the penitentiary, man. Like, I can cook the hell out of some jail foods. Some jail recipes, rather. It's all the same. It's only so many things that you can truly cook in this world. In prison, man, you got the microwave. You got guys that's so talented, man, they'll make their own hot pots. They'll make, well, not hot pots, but they'll make their own like ovens, stoves, to where you can fry your food or whatever. They will make that shit. You got guys that's very talented. They know how to cook. You see some of the best artists in prison that can draw, paint, anything. Tattoo artists, oh my God. They're going to break a CD player down, take the motor out of it, make it into a tattoo gun, and they're going to tattoo. It's not the safest thing to do in the world, but hey, I don't have any tattoos, but you see guys that are great, great artists. I've seen dudes take toilet paper, man, wet it, and somehow, some way, break it down, and they're able to make, like, Bibles out of it. They're able to make a whole chessboard. The pieces, the board, everything. Clay pottery or whatever. Like, you really, people that can sing, that can rap, play music or whatever, you'll see some of the best talent I'm not even going to say some of, you'll see the best talent in the world in a penitentiary. It's crazy when you just look around. Softball, very, very serious in prison. Yeah, you got, basketball. That's the number one thing in prison that's, people are gonna really, really take to. But softball, that's serious just as well, man. I didn't really have a desire to play softball in prison. Play baseball my entire life. Not my entire life, but for a lot of years of my life. Played in high school. Should have played in college. I was just a knucklehead. The college coach was, hey, man, why ain't you at practice? Why? I don't know. I'm in the dorm shooting dice with Big Bub in them. Shout out to Big Bub. Shout out to all my cats from Indianapolis. You know what I mean? Louisville, Kentucky. 502 Frankfort, Kentucky. Florida. All the guys because I played football my first year at Kentucky State University. I was on the football team. And I just never really took it serious. I should have, but I didn't. At the time, I didn't. Should have played baseball. Could have played baseball. Just wasn't with it. The love, the desire had left, and I just was not trying to be in no practices or whatever when I can be getting this money. Kentucky State is I don't know if y'all are familiar with Kentucky State University, but it's a lot of honeys on campus, and that's what my focus was at the time. You got to understand, this was a young Kens, a Kens, 26, 27 years ago Kens. Trying to be in no study hall. I ain't trying to be in no motherfucking team meetings and all that shit, man. I ain't trying to be in no, what do you call it, curfew. I'm sneaking out of the dorms, going to the parties on campus. Not supposed to be. We supposed to be getting ready for the game the next day. My mentality, I'm not even going to dress. Well, I'll dress because it's a home game. But the away games, I'm not even going. I'm not getting ready to play. I'm about to go to this party, man. Get with these little honeys, man. That was my mentality. Was it the right mentality? Obviously not. But at the time, this was my mentality. Y'all rock with me, man. I'm not in a rush. Are you all? My dog Steve, man, on the road, them trucks, man. Well, yeah, Steve, I ain't seen you in the chat in a minute, man. I ain't seen you in the comment section, man. Hope everything's well with you. Shout out to Steve, man. Things are going the way that they're going or what have you. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the whole college experience, the whole college situation. But again, as I've reiterated and touched upon, I just wasn't really feeling this whole college thing, man. I was trying to be an adult instead of just kicking back being a kid, because I was still a kid, instead of just being a kid and doing what I should have done. Things didn't work out for me. Fast forward, I found myself in the penitentiary. 6-7 years later, out of college, I found myself in the penitentiary. The guys never had a criminal record as far as a juvenile. I never came up, I didn't even smoke weed. I don't smoke weed. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. I've never used a drug a day in my life. I've never used a drug a day in my life, with the exception of marijuana, and that's 25 years ago. Again, I'm no better than anyone else. I didn't even start drinking until I got to college, man. Just responsibility, life hit me or whatever, and I didn't handle it in the manner in which I was raised in, so I found myself in the jizzle. Now, I say all of that, I loop all of that to say, Kens, what the fuck does that got to do with the story? It has a lot to do with the story, because I'm giving you all an overview. I'm painting a picture for you all for you all to understand that I was a baseball player just as well as a football player, and I could hoop. I was just short. I was 5'11". I'm not 5'11", but you can't tell me that I'm not 5'11". I could hoop just as well, like I was just and I play soccer like I was a a decent, not great. I'm not saying I was all state, but I was a decent athlete. Found myself in the penitentiary. I go out for softball tryouts. I don't even know why. Just a couple of the people that I kicked it with, they was going out. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to go out. Well, they seen I had an arm. They seen I could bat. And it was like, whoa, we got to have him on the squad. I didn't even care about softball. One of the people that went out for the softball team, he made it. The other individual, he didn't make it. I didn't even want to play because really softball practice and games, that was messing up my I couldn't get to the weight pal because I got to go to a softball game. I ended up playing. To make a long story short, I'm on the softball team. We killing it, man. I'm talking about it. We in the penitentiary at this point, like the real life pen, not a camp, not a jail. We in the pen, man. Lions, tigers, goons, gorillas, and birds, man. We make Green River Correctional Complex. Got dudes that got life sentences. Got dudes that's never ever in life going home. Got dudes that got 30 and 40 years before they even have a remote chance of going home. I'm in the cell with an individual that got a life sentence, man. And he's trying to get to Eddyville where Fleece Johnson is at because he wants to get back to his boyfriend. He got a life sentence plus 20 at any expense, man. Get me back to Eddyville. That's the only maximum security prison in the state of Kentucky at the time. Home of Fleece Johnson / death row. He's doing whatever he can do to get back. So I don't know I'm sleeping with one eye open. I'm not trying to be your ticket. You slice me up, dice me up when I'm asleep. Oh, now they got to send you back to death row so you can get back to your boyfriend. Scary situation, man. You youngsters listening? You think you want to be a thug? You think you a thug? You know, guns in prison, man. Ain't no switches, ain't no Glocks, ain't no, man, the motherfucker better not do nothing to me in prison, man. A pair of lips can say anything. Person will take your ass in prison, man. Take you. Now, when I say take your ass, not literally, like when I say like take your ass as a person, man, get your ass over here. What you gonna do? You can fight. But when you got gorillas such as Fleece Johnson, not saying he was doing that, but I'm just using him as an example. When you got your individuals like Big Rufus, that's just gonna grab you, been locked up for 10, 15 years, look like Damon on Friday. Been a long time. Come here, man. Give a nigga a hug. Come here. He grabs Day-Day. He got Day-Day in a... Come on, Craig. Come on, Craig. That's what Day-Day's saying to Craig. Come on. Yeah. It's been a long motherfucking time, man. I heard you niggas ain't paid your rent. Like, that's a funny scene, but that's how gorillas really are in prison, man. Y'all still here to see? This is what it is. It's gorillas, man. They've been locked up, man. And they big and they frustrated so they preying on the weak. They looking for an individual that they really feel like, okay, this is easy prey. You youngsters, look at that. You got guns. You feel as though you a gangster out here on the streets. Totally different in the joint, man. Totally different, man. Oh, my dogs will be there, man. I'm going to know somebody. They might send you to the feds. They send you to the feds, guess what? Ain't no telling where you going. You might end up in Kansas or somewhere. Where your dogs at in Kansas? Idaho. New York. I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York. New York. Texas. North Carolina, South Carolina. There's no telling where you could potentially end up at. So all that guerrilla talk, all of that, man, I'm this and I'm that, man, and I make gal when I go to the joint, man, I'm going to throw these things. Yeah, you can throw these things, but it's a totally different environment. It's a whole different ball game when you go to the penitentiary, especially the federal joint, the federal John. You know what I mean? Shout out to Philly, man. Shout out to New York. Shout out to the East Coast. Think about what you do before you do it, because there will be consequences for your actions. I'm on a softball team. We killing it. I don't know how this occurred. I don't know. But we're not losing that game. We killing everybody. I remember because a lot of people would come to the softball games, like intramurals in prison is big. So softball and basketball, people would pack the stands. Sometimes you got scouts, college coaches. Yeah, they're coming to the games to scout certain, inmates' talents. At least back then, anyway. I never will forget, man. I made a play one time. I was at second. They had me at second base. We turned a double play. I heard a person from the audience say, the fuck they get this team? How the fuck they get a team like this? It seemed as though we had all stars, man. We was killing them, man. Our whole team was black, man. NWA, niggas with attitudes. I didn't like the name. I had no say so what the the name of the squad was. But it was just the name of the squad. And I'm going to tell you what's so ironic and crazy about it. So we're going to rewind that because I said that it was all black. Out of probably, 15, 16 people on the team, it was all black, but it was one white dude on the team. It was one white. I don't know. And we called him John B because the dude looked just like John B. I don't care what the people say. Like, if you don't know who John B is, Google him. He's a white R&B singer, man. And all the black women love John B. Well, this dude, man, he was smooth. He was my dog, man. He was cool as fuck, man. I'm talking about that was my dude, man. He was the one that made me go out for the softball, you know what I mean? Tryouts. That was my dude, man, John B. Plenty of money. His mama loved him to death. I'm talking about he could do no wrong in the eyes of his mother. She sent him $125 every week, and it never failed. So if my money didn't hit and I had a little lapse in the, hey, Kens, don't worry about nothing, man. I got you, man. What you need? You need some deodorant. What you need? Like, dude was the coolest cat, man. John B was a white dude. He looked like John B. Had them thick ass eyebrows, paws. He had like the little short fade. John B was about 5'9", but he was a hell of a softball player. He played softball in the streets, man. I didn't know how to play softball. I knew how to play baseball. Is the difference. He knows how to just wait back on the pitch, sit back, take a couple steps, and boom. He knows how to. I didn't know how to do all of that. He's hitting home runs and everything. Like, how are you hitting the ball that far? How are you? Because when I hit the ball, I'm waiting on the ball like I'm waiting on a curveball. I'm sitting back, got my elbow up. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting, and I hit it and it just pops up. But don't get me wrong, I was pretty good. I got base hits. I got on base a lot, but this dude, John B, would just hit straight line drives. He's stepping. He's not waiting back. He's stepping up, and he's doing it smoothly. You softball players know what I'm talking about. Take a couple steps, woo, and he's hitting it, and sometimes it goes over the fence. If it didn't, it was just line drives, man. So I try to really, really learn from John B. as far as the, softball tip. He didn't even have that much time. I don't even know why he was behind the fence. He had like 7 years, something. It was not that much time whatsoever. But nevertheless, we was out on the same softball squad. We go through the whole season. Man, how the fuck they get a squad like this? We undefeated. We haven't lost a game. Tournament time comes. We rolling through the tournament. We get to the championship games, man. We play a squad that they had lost a couple games, but they were good because, see, the thing about softball, the thing about intramural sports, your team may be structured in a certain capacity, a certain amount of players, or let's just say this is your squad for now. But 2 or 3 weeks later, you got guys that go to the hole, get transferred, get out. Then you have people that come in. They had lost a couple games. We had beaten them in the regular season. It was a close game, man. The whole yard was out there. But you get other players that, replace players. Championship game, man. NWA. For y'all that don't know, niggas with attitude. That's what NWA stood for. I didn't approve of the name, but hey, what can I do? That was the name of the team, man. Although we got John B, niggas with attitude. We playing against the championship game. As I mentioned, the whole yard is out there. The staff is out there. Everybody is out there for this game. We playing against on the schedule, it said BAWB. BAWB. The schedule, that's what it was. Just like R said, NWA. So it's NWA versus BAWB. BAWB stood for Badass White Boys. All white. 15, 16, 17 deep. Got NWA. We all black, with the exception of John B. And in the eyes of most people on the yard, John B was black. So you got black versus white. Penitentiary is very, very segregated. Whites are with the whites, blacks are with the blacks, Mexicans with the Mexicans. Now, in Kentucky, I can room with a white person, but it has to be requested. They're not going to throw me in a room with a white dude. It's just not going to happen. Make sure my car don't die. You know what I mean? Very, very segregated. You might not even be a racist. You might not even have a problem with a black person or with a white person or with a Mexican or a Chinese. But it's just the way that the prison system is designed, if you will. Championship game. Big money on the line. You got shot callers. You got gorillas. You got dudes that really got that bread, that cornbread, that cabbage, man. They betting on the games, man. NWA versus the Badass White Boys. Badass White Boys, man, they were cool as a fan, man. That was just the name of their squad. They fool with dudes. They fool with blacks. Some of them. You got 6'6", 6'7" gorillas. 6'4", 6'5" dudes is gorillas, man. Maybe came into prison and they just had height on them. They was 6'5" when they came into prison and weighed 160 pounds. 170 pounds. Got to do 10 years straight, 5 years straight. They people sending them money. They could buy that. Back then, you could buy creatine off the commissary. Taking that creatine. Not saying all of them. Some of them just, got great genes. Been in that weight pile for a year, 2, 3, or whatever. Dudes is gorillas, man. I'm talking about gorillas. It's a game for the ages, man. It's going down. We undefeated. They 2 losses deep, but one of the losses because of us. But now they all the way, they team is all the way together, man. Seems as though the whole yard is out there watching this game. Got 4 refs. 4 umpires, rather. You got 1 behind the plate, 1 in the middle of the field, like behind the pitcher's mound. Typically, that's all you have. But because this was a championship game, they went with 4. You got 1 along the third base line, like in the outfield, 1 along the first base line in the outfield. It's not going to be any room for any sort of discrepancies, any sort of missed calls. You got 4 refs. It was all on the line, man. You got people betting big money, man. Big money. Gambling in prison, gambling and drugs. Sissies. No disrespect, but that's just what they refer to them as in prison. And those are the 3 things that you stay away from, man. Those are the 3 things that you want to stay away from, because you will lose your life over these things. You got the white boys that's putting the money on the white boys. Then you got the black dudes that's putting the money on NWA. It's going to be a hell of a game, man. It's going to be a hell of a game. We're playing. It's in the latter stages of the game, man. Tight game. It's 3-2. It's 3-2. I'm talking about, man. It's some great softball going on, man. There was a play that came down. When I say it was 3-2, we were up. NWA, we was up. It was 2 outs. I'm trying to recall. So when I break, I'm trying to really, really recall. This is a long time ago, you all. Bear with me. Badass white boys. They bat. They up to bat. Dude gets you know what I'm saying? He hits the ball. When he hits the ball, it was already a man on first base. Actually, let's rewind that. There was nobody on base. It was 2 outs. Actually, let's double rewind. It was a man on second base. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. I'm getting older, you all. It was a man on second base. It was 2 outs. Dude's up to bat. He hits a double, seemingly a double. The dude on second base obviously scores, ties the game up at 3-3. We're in the latter stages of the game. I want to say maybe the bottom of the 7th, something like that. That's all we played was 7 innings. Dude on second base, he scores. Ties the game up 3-3. It's only one problem. It was a major, major discrepancy. You see, when the individual that hit the double, seemingly double, he rounds first base, slides into second base. The dude was out. I'm not just saying this to be biased or like Stevie Wonder could have seen this. Ray Charles, anybody, he was out. The umpire, Darnell. That we'll forget. Darnell. He caught him safe. Darnell called the man safe, man. When he was clearly playing his day out. It was an uproar. That should have been, the end of the game. It's 2 outs. It's an uproar. Everybody's going crazy, man. You got the white boys, because you got all the white boys, you know what I mean? The badass white boys, they got their crowd, they stands, they bleachers over here. Then you got NWA, they bleachers over here. Then you got staff over here. Man, it was just like a real live, you had the Bronx Zoo at the Yankees game or some shit. It was a break. Dudes was running out or whatever on the field. Hold on, man, hold on. It was a break. Got dudes from NWA. They out there and they talking to Darnell. They're talking to Darnell and they're talking to another umpire just as well. Because all the umpires would all gather together. Just like you see on real TV, real baseball games. They're talking for a minute. I'm talking about 5 minutes. Pins and needles. Pins and needles. Got a lot of money on the line. You got a lot of money that's based upon this one call that's going to be determined by Darnell, the other umpires, but mainly it's Darnell because he called the call. Called him safe. Clearly was out, but called him safe. Everybody's gathered up or whatever. You got the little managers or whatever from NWA. It's just some bullshit. You know how you throw the bases and all that. They ain't go through all of that, but they are going crazy. I mean, this dude was clearly playing his day out. It's about 5 minutes. I'm sitting there and I'm looking. I'm watching the interaction. I know Darnell. Met him through a mutual friend, but I knew We all from Lexington, man. So, you know, in penitentiary, you got a card. There's not a lot of gangs here in Kentucky. So you got cards. So you're from Lexington, you stick together. You're from Louisville, you stick together. If you from Covington, if you from, you know what I mean? The other side of the state, the western part of the state, Hoptown, eastern part of Kentucky, everybody sticks together. I'm sitting there, I'm watching. I know it's not going to be good. I'm going to keep it all the way real. I'm probably the most non-violent person that you will ever see and meet in your life. I'm ready to get my stuff and just leave, man, because I know this is not going to end well. I'm looking at Darnell. Darnell wasn't no punk, dark-skinned, black dude. Darnell was probably, I don't know, shit, he had his 5'11". You know, he wasn't no chump whatsoever, man. Probably about 190 pounds. He lift weights, he's cut up or whatever, but he was cool, laid back. But I'm looking, this ain't gonna end well, man. Darnell missed that call. Although it benefited us, Darnell missed that call. Dude was clearly, I mean, there was no, nevertheless, he missed the call. About 5 minutes goes past. I'm watching Darnell, as I mentioned, and I see him doing like this. Got his arms crossed like, you know what? He's out of there! Oh my God, the whole park erupted. Remember I said it was 2 outs. The dude ended up scoring, would have been a tying score, 3-3. He's out of there! It's 5 minutes later. Imagine you all that play baseball and softball, 5 minutes later, an umpire comes back and reverses the whole call, and he's clearly wrong. He's out of there! Man, the whole park. Big ass brawl damn near just broke out, man. Only reason I think that it didn't is because, I mean, it was a couple fights, but like the whole park didn't fight. You got staff, you got security guards or officers or whatever. They got guns, they have towers. They got towers, man. They will shoot you. Get down. They get on them bullhorns. Everybody get out. Everybody get out. Everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground. I'm saying everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground. Can't be tough, man. You're going to get shot. Worst case scenario, they're going to hit you with the bean bags. They got the gas in them and the tear gas and gets all in your ass. And that's if you lucky. So it never really popped off like that. We were deemed the winners, undefeated. We won the whole thing. But it wasn't going to just end at that night. Had a couple people that got shipped, went to the hole, whatever. But nah, it wasn't going to just end at that, man. And I'm knowing this. I'm like, man, this is why I shouldn't even have played. Although I couldn't have foreseen this sort of activity going down, I shouldn't even have played. I didn't even want to play on the softball team in the first damn place. I just wanted to go to the weight pound, lift weights, and get big, get in shape. Tension in the air. They had a like an award ceremony to where the winner got, I think we got like Arby's or something like that. And we got the trophy, and we got like $20 put on our books. So they had like a little ceremony for us on the yard. Then you got the runner-up, badass white boys. They got like consolation prize. I think they got some Arby's just as well, but they didn't get the money on their books, and obviously they didn't get the trophy. Well, they're not too happy about that, but it's not just them. The individuals that's betting all these thousands of dollars that they was going to win, they got a real problem with Darnell, because Darnell was the official that after 5 minutes, he made the call initially. He's out of there! Now umpires do it bullshit. I ain't even going to say it's bullshit because it's dramatic. Strike three. Motherfucker, strike three, you get caught looking, they don't swing the bat, and Darnell's like, he's out of there! You gonna say he's out of there 20 minutes later. Come to find out, Darnell had taken a little bribe from the people. Darnell had taken a little bribe to sway the game in the direction of NWA. That's why you had 2 black refs and you had 2 white refs. Remember I said prison is very, very segregated, divided. Obviously, badass white boys found out that Darnell took this bribe. Now they mad. They after him. Yeah, we gonna get you. Wasn't no racist dudes. You might have had a couple of them that was racist. It's not like we're gonna get a nigger. Wasn't a situation, that consisted of that. But it was thousands of dollars lost that was indicative, that was caused because he made this call. He was taking bribes. As I mentioned, Darnell wasn't no punk. He wasn't trying to check in, which means going to security. Hey, I need to get off his yard. I don't feel safe. Nah, it wasn't Darnell's angle. It is what it is. Except we all from Lexington. He got a clique. He got a crew or whatever. Oh, my God, I'm not trying to get involved in none of this. I'm just trying to get from behind the fence and go to a camp because I'm trying to get home. I don't got time to be going through this penitentiary politics and all of these things. But at the same time, if anything pops off, I have to go. I got to go because if I don't go, then I'm going to be dealt with. I'm not in a gang. But I'm going to be dealt with accordingly because, damn, you ain't even help the homies, man. I know that it's going to go down at any given point. I don't know when, but I know that it's going down. At the ceremony, getting our little awards, we seeing the people cutting their eyes at us, man. Yeah, we hearing the comments or whatever. After the ceremony, the staff, they go back and do what they do or whatever. Go back to their, positions that they were previously in. It's when it hits the fan, man. One of the white dudes said something to somebody on our squad. Somebody on our squad, they say something back to the badass white boys. And then we'll forget it was over by the volleyball pit. Penitentiary, the yard is big. You got like a couple volleyball pits. You got 3-4 basketball courts. You got a big old track, a big old loop. Like, the penitentiary yard is big. At least at Green River it is. A couple other prisons I've been to, I've never seen a yard as big as Green River's. Big old fight just breaks out, man. The fight breaks out, man. I'm saying dudes, man. You got dudes that got knives. You got dudes that got locks in the sock. And I'm right there in the middle of it. Like, I'm literally right there. I'm going to keep it all the way real with you. I wasn't trying to fight. I wasn't trying to do nothing. But I'm right there. Plus, I got to protect myself. They know that I'm on the team. So I can't just be sitting there, I ain't got nothing to do with it. And fucking stabbing my hands and shit. Stab. You know what I'm saying? So I got to, I got to do my thing. Man, that fight went on for a good 3-4 minutes. I got hit a couple dudes or whatever. Pause, double pause, triple pause. Like, hit him with my fist, like, fighting. You know what I mean? That jab look a little slow now, man, because I'm, but boom, I snap. Don't get it twisted, man. I ain't nothing changed, man. I throw from the shoulders, man. Ain't nothing changed, man. Fight went on, as I mentioned, 3 or 4 minutes. A couple people got stabbed. A couple people got hit upside the head. They were split or whatever. Staff came in, like I said, with the bullhorn. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. I was so happy to see staff. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I was so happy to see staff. They didn't have me caught up on camera or anything, so I didn't go to the hole. Several of the dudes went to the hole, got shipped to different facilities or whatever. As a result of a bad call. Just recently seen Darnell. Probably 6 months ago. And he's not doing too great. He's homeless out here on the streets. Every time I see him, man, you remember that time we was in the joint, man? I already know he wants something, but I'm gonna give him something anyway. Darnell, man, was a cool dude, but he did some foul stuff to us on the streets when we was getting our money. Counterfeit checks, and he'd go into the store and he have a $900 check. He's supposed to bring it out. He'd come out with no money and no check. Man, I got scared, man. I walked away through the checkaway. Come to find out, we ended up having to rough Darnell up, man, because he was trying to keep the money. Oh, yeah? So you just threw the check away, huh? Okay. My man. Yeah, we ended up having to, it got a little street. It got a little gangster. But, we moved past that. Darnell's out here on these streets, man, homeless, man. He's a diabetic, and, I feel bad for him. Hey, bro, man, I ain't had my medicine. I ain't had nothing to eat. So I see him, man. I gave him some money, man. And despite of what happened in the past, I'm all about forgiveness. Nobody's perfect in this world. But it's one thing that I'll never in this life forget. How in the hell, after 5 minutes, you sitting there and you listening, you got your arms crossed, you listening to the team that's telling you and they arguing, and I see you like, yeah. As though you're saying, you know how on a cartoon or on TV, and it has the words that you're thinking, yeah, you got a point. It seemed as though Darnell was saying, yeah, you got a point. You know what? He's out of there! And the whole park went crazy, man. That's something that I'll never, ever forget, man. Penitentiary stories, man. Stay out of the joint, stay out of the pen, man. Especially, if you do go, don't be trying to be no referee or no, because, man, they was after Darnell. And in that fight, man, Darnell ended up getting his wig split. Darnell got split. He didn't get stabbed, luckily for him, but he got his wig split. He was the main culprit. He was the main one that they was after, man. Lock in the sock, busted him upside his head, split, cut his eye open, busted it. No, he was messed around, but he stayed on the yard. He's not one of the ones that got, shipped away. It's dangerous in the penitentiary, man. real dangerous. We're not dealing with regular street rules and okay, let's talk this out. Nah, man. You got dudes in the pen, man, today, a couple sandwiches short. Not one, a couple sandwiches short of a picnic, man. They're going to do what they got to do, man. And violence is the only thing that people understand and respect in the penitentiary, man. Violence. Fuckers ain't trying to talk shit out. Yeah, you might run across some people. Okay, man, I'm trying to go home. You trying to go home. But violence is the number one thing that people will really, really understand in prison. And I wasn't with it. And I was the most afraid that I've ever been in prison. I didn't know if I was going to make it, man. You got these big-ass white boys, man. Motherfuckers are 6'2", 6'3", 6'5". Been in the weight path for 10 years, 8 years. And they coming at you aggressively, man. They really trying to take your head off. I ain't did nothing to nobody. I'm cool with half of them. But when it's time to ride for, your car, that's what they call it in Kentucky, your car, your set, you got to ride, man. And, you're going to be a man and you're going to be a mouse, man. Scary situation, man. Hopefully you all like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that post notification, so anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what, you're amongst the first to receive, man. You know what I mean? Hopefully this story encourages a lot of you all to stay the hell out of prison. Real Kens TV.